Hello YouTube. So in tonight's video, I want to discuss a bit of the Genshin versus Wuthering Waves discourse that I have been seeing on social media. I don't wish to start any drama with this video, but it is something I would like to get off my chest. I do encourage healthy discussions, and if you have some of your own opinions you would like to share on this topic, feel free to leave those in the comments below, but let's try to keep it civil down there. Now, I want to start things off that is a completely fair point that Wuthering Waves was going to inevitably get comparisons to Genshin Impact because for a long time now, Genshin has stood at the top of its genre within the gacha category, mainly because it was the first of its kind to become an open world gacha game as expansive as it is. And Wuthering Waves is kind of going to try and step into that category itself. Now, however, I have seen a lot of comments on social media, and I'm not going to bring up or show any names because I do not wish to be someone that causes another person to get flamed or to be harassed because of a video on YouTube. But a lot of the comments, especially from the Genshin community, has been a lot of negativity just trying to immediately shut down Wuthering Waves and how they are earnestly wishing for it to fail so the game they love can stay at that top. I've also seen other comments from people that have just wished that Wuthering Waves will succeed enough to provide direct competition so that developers of Genshin will finally make the improvements to the game that people have been asking for the last 3 years. And this is completely fair. And I've seen a lot of the drama, and I think Genshin does deserve those changes as someone that has played it previously. I've also seen some baseless claims of how Wuthering Waves is just a cheap Genshin clone, and comparing characters like how Jiyan is getting called a bad Xiao copy just because he is the color green and during his ultimate he uses a spear. I've also seen people claiming that Wuthering Waves devs only made the changes that was mentioned in the developer interview because it is the only way that they are able to compete with Genshin Impact. Now, I'm not trying to speak for Kuro because maybe they are trying to compete, but competition is definitely healthy for within this space, and it is an environment that builds improvements so that way the games can become better for everyone to play. I believe though that Kuro, especially after seeing that developer interview, has actual genuine passion for the game they are trying to build for their audience, which is something I felt lacking from playing Genshin. It truly felt like there just was no passion left after Liye, and which was kind of inevitably one of the reasons I quit after the end of the first Inazuma patch. Now, I've seen footage from Fontaine, and honestly, it looked good from what I have witnessed, and that I did try to come back to the game only to realize that when I was attempting to go through the story, I just felt more frustrated than I was actually having fun because it's just way too much dialogue below about things I just do not care about that I feel like aren't even relevant to the main story. And it feels like it just takes hours to get through just a small handful of quests. Now, my experiences with playing Punishing Grey Raven, which is one of Kuro Games' other titles, it kind of shaped my view of Kuro Games as a whole, and that view has been overwhelmingly positive. They have done things for the game that I have not seen other developers do. For example, in the PGR meta, it is atrociously filled with a lot of power creep with their characters, and a lot of characters tend to just get cycled out. Some of them retain viability for a while, but generally everyone gets power crept at some point. Granted, you're able to obtain every character free to play with the amount of time investment, but Kuro did take time out of development hours and decided to go back to these characters that had been power crept, especially starting with the ones that the game released with, and redesign them completely to kind of keep them in line with the current 2.0 designs. And I wouldn't say competitive, but they still retain some viability within the current meta. No one had to complain for these changes to happen. At least I haven't seen any complaints or are really aware of any. But with Genshin, everyone knows about Zhongli and the first year anniversary awards. And honestly, I don't feel like those changes would have even probably ever happened if it wasn't for an overwhelmingly large community outrage. I do think that there are plenty of things that Wuthering Waves could improve upon. Some are critical and some are probably just me being selfish, most likely being selfish just because I want the 100% character pay to stay in the game from DGR, but I understand from a financial investment to return that that's not likely going to happen. I don't really want to make this video too long, but I do sincerely wish for that people who enjoy Genshin Impact, and especially those who are unhappy with it in its current state, are able to get the long overdue changes they want. Everyone should and deserves to like the game they're playing, especially even if you sunk money into it. Like if you're spending money in the game, you deserve to like the game that you're putting money into. I just wish that people will give Wuthering Waves a fair shot, not as an alternative because they're disappointed with Genshin, but as its own game trying to stand on its own 2 feet because they are genuinely excited to play something new. And as well for the Genshin stands that have been actively trying to defame Wuthering Waves, I hope you'll at least be willing to give the game a try yourselves as well before trying to dissuade others from playing it. That's going to be it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.